Greetings folks, True and Proper here, bringing you yet another in my series. This is one of those pistols that I did my homework on, because if I was going to buy this pistol for myself, I was going to make sure it was great. And folks, it's great. Without further ado, ladies and gentlemen, the Springfield XD-45 Subcompact Mod 2. Okay folks, there it is, the Springfield XD-45 Subcompact Mod 2. And I really do love this pistol. This is an excellent concealer, and the grip zone feels awesome. Ergonomically, I mean, this is like butter, folks. The handgun just rides up beautifully up into your hand. Your hand is really close to the bore axis here, and they did a really good job with this. Aggressive texturing, but not too aggressive. You know, it doesn't hurt or anything. I only got 10 stitches. It has the grip safety here in the back, but you nary feel that when you're handling this handgun. And the grip zone, folks, that's a no-shitter. This thing feels outstanding. I love the way this gun feels in my hands. Now don't worry folks, I'm not getting a room with this pistol or anything, and my important hand is where you can see it, but this is a really nice handgun. 45 ACP and 9 rounds of it. Now 9 rounds of 45 ACP, that's pretty excellent when you consider the fact that a 1911 holds 8 rounds at the max of 45 ACP. But this is the best compact 45 ACP pistol I can think of to get outside the Glock 30. The recoil with this handgun, and it's 26 ounces by the way, 26 ounces, 9 rounds of 45 ACP, which means the recoil is going to be a lot more manageable than, say, my car CW45. Did you guys check that video? Now, that's a great pistol. However, it is significantly lighter than this handgun, which means your perceived recoil impact is going to be a lot more dramatic with a smaller weight handgun. So people will and have bitched about the fact that the XD-45 Subcompact is 26 ounces. But that's an important 26 ounces. Sometimes you don't want to do away with the weight because you want to be able to get your follow-up shots a little bit more quickly, a little bit more accurately, shoot a little bit more smoothly. And shooting this one right here is just like shooting a full-size handgun. And speaking of full-size handgun, it comes with not only the 9-round magazine, which is flush fit, but an extended 13 rounds of 45 ACP. Now that is one big full handful, and that makes this pistol, by the way, 5.5 inches high when you put on the extended magazine, whereas with the flush fit magazine it is 4.5 inches high. So this would be great for the range, and I'm sure you could probably concealed carry this, but your dynamic again is the height of the pistol for concealed carry, whether or not this thing is going to stick out. So most people are going to want to take this one off for concealed purposes and use this one, and then just carry Big Mo here for the backup. So it is a very comfortable handgun to shoot with either magazine. So it can't be stressed enough and can't be stated more clearly that the more weight there is in the pistol, the easier it is to take the recoil. I mean, it's just science. Let's get a good close-up look at this gun, as a matter of fact, for some good scientific gun pornography. There we go. XD-45 ACP, subcompact designation up here. It's an American company, they're making it. Gracia, why'd you get it? I don't care. Mod 2 right here. And what I like about this slide, folks, is that right here, this little area, this raised area here, it's a little bit slightly more raised than the rest of the serrations here, facilitates easier racking. It's a little bit more to get a grip on to do your racking. Not quite as dramatic as the cocking ears on Heckler & Koch's VP series, but it is enough to make a difference. So racking the pistol is not very hard. So looking further, you've got a 3-dot system right here, as you can see. 3-dot sights with a red fiber optic, just like the XDS. And I do think that is an excellent touch because sight acquisition is rather quick this way. And they also provide green and yellow ones, so you have your options there. You can switch it out. Now back here on the slide is a cocked indicator. That is just a cocked indicator though. That is not a loaded chamber indicator. But there is a tactile and visual indicator that the gun is at least cocked, and when you squeeze the trigger, it disappears. So that at least lets you know that the gun is cocked. That at least lets you know that the striker is ready. And the loaded chamber indicator is actually up here. So if you put a dummy round, it's not a real bullet. If you put a dummy round in the handgun, chamber this unreal bullet, you'll see that there is a raised section up here on top of the slide. Very tactile and very visual. So you can tell if there is a bullet in the chamber right here. That's how you tell. And if you look at the top of the slide, you can tell that the serrations go right up into the top of the slide around this curve here for just a little bit more leverage. But just a little bit. I wouldn't say it's a marketing feature by itself, but that's a pretty good touch, and it also looks pretty good. So the serrations look great. I like the cuts on the slide. Very nice. This is the takedown lever here, and this is the slide release over here. And this pistol is not very ambidextrous. So if you look at it from this angle, you'll see that there's no slide release over here. And of course, this is the safety on the back. This is a safety trigger here. But the mag release is on both sides. That's ambidextrous, and that's very helpful for you lefties. It's a very well-made pistol. So when you hold this handgun, you feel like you're holding a Jimenez. And if you look at the front of the handgun, you can see that it's got a tack rail here for attaching rather small lights and lasers. And look at the size of that bore. You're gonna shoot someone! No, it's a video, and it's pointed at the camera, not myself. Gotta keep telling that guy. And I do have a guy that keeps telling me what a poor pistol handler I am because I keep squeezing the triggers during my videos. Go see your therapist. It's a well-made handgun, and it takes down pretty easily. Let's go ahead and take it down. Let's eject that dummy round here. Proof that it wasn't real. And let's lock the slide back. Flip up the takedown lever into the upward position. A lot of handgun makers do theirs so it swings downwards. Springfield does theirs upwards. Right? Not a bad thing or anything. And then squeeze the trigger, pull your slide off, and it is a nicely made pistol. It's a nicely made handgun. Double captured spring guide rod, standard lockup type of barrel, and inside the slide looks very smooth and nice. Maybe not too smooth and nice for this one because I was shooting it not too long ago and opted not to clean it right away, but you get the picture. And then putting it back is just as easy as taking it apart. You know, feed your barrel through there, stick your guide rod and springs here. Just make sure it clicks into position right here. You'll know when it does. Slide the slide on, bring it back, and with your slide lock back like this, flip down your lever, release your slide, function check, and disco. And folks, this is not a very expensive handgun. You would think with all that it has that it's going to be a very expensive handgun, especially it feels like an expensive handgun. But it's not a very expensive handgun. You can find this anywhere from $430 to say $525, $550. It just depends who's selling it, how much they're marking it up. You know, different people have different reasons for charging what they do, so don't be too hard on them. And I always recommend supporting your local gun stores if you can. It's a really good idea to do that. It helps keep the economy in your area. So this is not a very expensive handgun. Surprisingly, a lot of handgun makers would probably try to put something off like this for about $600 or more. This is an inexpensive handgun. Springfield does a great job. Now, people were complaining about the XD series, the previous XD series, and complaining about the triggers. I never quite got that about their triggers. The triggers in these handguns, I had the XD 9mm subcompact years ago, and I've got this here in 45 ACP. And they did improve the trigger. Though I'm going to state again, I really didn't find much of a problem with the trigger in the previous series. I think what happens is a lot of people have a Glock and they expect every trigger to be like that forward on. And that's just not realistic. Different makers do different things to make their handguns. And as long as your trigger is consistent, well, that's what you're looking for. Consistent reset and consistent trigger pull. Now the trigger pull for this handgun, you'll see that it's not too bad at all. I'm bringing it up close here. And you'll see that there's the trigger safety right here. It's another safety feature in addition to its grip safety here. Some people complained about the grip safety and they didn't know why they were even doing this. But if you're holding the handgun correctly, this grip safety is inconsequential. I don't even feel it when I'm holding this handgun. The only way this grip safety here could be a burden is if you hold your handguns this way. Now, show of hands, how many people hold their handguns this way? None? Okay. Anyway, now the trigger pull, you've got this much take up. Not too bad. You can work with it. And you should train with your handguns all the time, and you should train by bringing your finger out, as a matter of fact. You know, because in self-defense situations, you're not going to be competition shooting. So, a little bit of take up right here. And then, it's a nice, crisp snap. It is a very good trigger. It's very light. I want to give this thing about 4.5 to 5 pounds. Reset. Okay, you reset queens. You're going to be confused about which restroom. All right, here we go. Tick, right there. Not too bad. Now, further from the reset, you know, so that's not too bad. It was right about here. And then there's a slight bit of take up again, but only slight. And then one more time without me speaking. Pretty good trigger. It's a very good trigger, and it's an easy gun to shoot. This is a lower recoiling handgun again because of its weight. 45 ACP needs a little bit of a heavier gun, so 26 ounces, that's pretty good. The recoil is very manageable for its size, and you can tell by this video here that I'm not having too hard a time with it, and I'm actually able to reacquire the targets quicker. And I've got to attribute that to the fact that this is about 26 ounces, which isn't heavy on its own. But a lot of people are trying to make handguns that are lighter and lighter and lighter. And for a cartridge like the 45 ACP, you may not want to go too light on that, you know? You want to be able to do some graceful follow-up shots. So this is a very good shooter. Doing double taps is very easy with this handgun. But folks, 9 rounds of 45 ACP tucked in your waistband is not too bad at all. It's not like sitting there getting forced to watch reruns of Facts of Life or anything. I mean, it's actually quite pleasurable. 45 ACP, and it's not a very heavy handgun. So you've got that peace of mind carrying around this handgun that you're going to be well protected. And if you carry around Big Bow here, then you've got that added advantage of knowing that you've got 13 more rounds of 45 ACP tucked away somewhere on you, hopefully clean. So, but folks, the rest of the specs are as follows. This handgun is 6.5 inches long, right? And I've got to think that 6.5 inches is right here at this beaver tail and from the front of the slide. So 6.5 inches long. Again, 4.5 inches high with the flush fit magazine and 5.5 with Big Bow here. And it is 26 ounces, 27 ounces with the extended magazine, and it's 1.20 inches wide. The Glock 19 is 1.18 inches wide. And the top is adorned with that Springfield logo right here. Very nice. It is a good carrier, and that is one that I would recommend. A well-made handgun for its low cost. So for those of you who want a 45 ACP pistol, but don't want to carry a 1911 and don't want to spend a shitload of money, right here. I'm not a Springfield spokesman, but I gotta say that I absolutely love their product. I have not been disappointed by any Springfields I have ever handled or shot, so this one is no different. And folks, some of you were asking if I'm ever going to get apparel. Yes, indeed I am. Right here, Abaddon Apparel is selling Too Improper gear. So for those of you who are inquiring, you can get your Too Improper gear at Abaddon Apparel. And folks, not only will you find the Too Improper gear you want, but if you go to Abaddon Apparel, they have their own line of clothing there, which is quite excellent. I was perusing their line when they just opened. We all just went live a couple days ago, and they've got some fantastic designs that they're selling on their own. And you won't just find Abaddon Apparel gear, and you won't just find Too Improper gear at Abaddon Apparel, but you'll also find some other sites that you recognize, like Jarhead 6, KS Gun Guy, 1776 or Bust, Big Johnson. There's going to be a lot more. So keep checking on Abaddon Apparel, because some of your best gun sites are going to be turning up over there. And you're going to want to get your hands on some of their apparel too. So that's Abaddon Apparel. Well, that's it, folks. I'm Too Improper. My email address is on the right side of the screen as we speak right now. That's tooimproper@gmail.com. Or you can reach Tattoo Cat at TAT, the number 2, KAT @gmail.com. Go ahead and write, and we will answer you, provided you are being polite about whatever it is you have to say, and if we have the time. Thanks for watching, folks. God bless America, and keep on protecting your families and yourselves. You are your own security, and it's the right thing to do.